Rob G, we do have a big-time rivalry, a blue blood kind of thing that people, if you watch college football, and I remember covering a Notre Dame USC game back in the 80s when Rocket Ishmael was a player for Notre Dame. And I covered him in high school, right, back in 1986, and this must be like 1987 or something like that, like a year or so later, 1988 at the latest. And what a big deal, and you know that, the history of that rivalry. But Rob G., the rivalry is, of course, have been threatened now, right? Because this is the last one.
Yeah, blinking you might miss it, just like Rob Parker's fledgling radio career. It could be over before you know it.
What are you talking about, 40 years later?
The same thing with Notre Dame and USC. The contract is not being renewed, Rob Parker.
That's happened a few times in a few places.
Hey, listen, they say you ain't been in the business till that happens.
In all seriousness, this Saturday, if things don't change, will be the last time you see Notre Dame taking on USC in the regular season.
That's crazy.
They've been negotiating allegedly all offseason. Notre Dame, by all accounts, wants to continue. USC is a little bit trepidatious because their feeling is, hey, unless they expand the playoff beyond 12 teams where the Big Ten is guaranteed 4 to 5 spots.
Why can't they earn it,
There's
USC?
no incentive for us to do it. And so much so, they've actually started speaking outside of their own network, Big Fox, CBS, so on and so forth. And said, hey, Netflix, if you're willing to pay mucho dollars, then maybe we'll continue this rivalry. But unless you do, it's all to be determined.
Always try to strong-arm people for money.
Well, that's what you do to restaurants.
No, but
I gave you $5. I want more shrimp than that. Don't skip me on my shrimpies.
I just want what I paid for. That's all I want. Nothing extra, just what I paid for. All right.
I absolutely believe that we are in a situation where we need to just call college sports professional sports, because that's essentially what's going on here.
We've been there.
Right, but I mean, at this point now with the NIL and all these realignments, and historically these schools were in the Pac-12, this was the Big Ten, and that was really like the Big 25, because so many schools in it, and realignment of these conferences. Man, we need to just call it what it is. It's just professional sports light at this point. And I believe college football has sacrificed tradition for profits. One of the things that separated the differences between, pros and the college were the traditions that you had. This school was going to play this school, and this mattered this, and you kind of knew what you were going to get, and it was
now
part.
It doesn't matter who you
the
play.
pomp and circumstance around it, right? All that matter, rivalries and the blue bloods. Well, that doesn't matter anymore, and you're starting to see that with a lot of these rivalries. Now, I do think they're going to keep a couple, but I'll tell you when I knew that this was in jeopardy was when you were going to have Ohio State and Michigan not play when they had started the legends and the leaders, whatever the divisions are. And they were like, all right, well, if they're going to do this, and with these new teams in the Big Ten, if you do the scheduling, Ohio State may not play Michigan every other year or something like that.
Which is ridiculous.
And people lost their minds because that's one of the best, if not the best rivalry in all of college football. And so that's just where we are, man. And it's disappointing because that's one of the things you got used to. You grew and you knew. And I'll give you an example. There are years Michigan wasn't great. National championship wasn't a big thing, like even for them last season.
Well, it wasn't because they didn't win one for 100
like
years.
10 years, whatever it was.
So it was.
Oh, you're talking about the national championship.
You know what I mean? National championship. So that they never played for that anyway.
But if you ruined Ohio State, or if Ohio State ruined Michigan, or if you're Auburn and you ruin Alabama's year, or vice versa, or LSU, these were the great things that made college football great. And the idea that you would lose this, you're just completely kind of taking the fabric away from college football. But again, this has been kind of eroding over the years. These are the things that have been happening slowly but surely over the years. And again, I brought it up too. We saw it first in college basketball with the one and dones. Now you have your version of a one and done in college football, which we know they can't leave and go to the pros. But what you can do is leave a school. And you're starting to have where guys, in the quarterback, that's the main position you want to know right now. He's going over there, and he's going over there.
I'm not mad at him. Coach has been leaving him.
No, I'm not mad at him. I'm saying you're losing to this is my guy. He's been there for 2-3 years. He's going to fight. He lost 2 years versus his team. Now he's going to get him back for 2 years. We're losing all of that. So that's just – it's par for the course right now with where we are in college sports. But you hate to see it because that's what made the game, if you will. But that's just the current state of college football. It is all about profits, period. It was all about profits, but you kept some traditions. Traditions are out the window.
Everything's lost. Nope, they don't care. They don't care about any of that. They want as much money as they can make. They don't care if you're going to kill traditions and different stuff. It's a shame, to be honest, because everything can't be for sale, okay? Mm-hmm. And I've said this over and over. That's why I have the utmost respect for, like, the Dodgers and the Yankees. The Yankee Stadium tomorrow could be American Express Stadium
100%.
for a gazillion dollars. Dodger Stadium could be American Express Stadium for a gazillion tomorrow, and they refuse to do it, right? The Yankees could have black uniforms. Will they do it?
No.
They could put names on the back so they can sell more jerseys or whatever. No. There's a tradition of certain stuff that needs to stay. Everything can't be for sale. And it's a shame for people who have always loved the whole Notre Dame and USC and that. And this is the last one, and now they're negotiating, and we might sell it to the highest bidder and figure it out. And we saw it in boxing. People ask why boxing isn't as big. They decided to take the pay-per-view money. We don't care. I was a kid. I used to listen to boxing on the radio. Mm-hmm. No kid today could imagine listening to a fight on the radio. They were so afraid that people wouldn't buy the fight that they didn't want it on the radio. There are people who are driving in cars who can't watch the fight. Why would you take that away? You really believe that? That's what they thought. All the fights come on after midnight Eastern time.
Yeah.
All the kids, all the 9 and 10 and 11-year-old boys who are sports fans can't watch. So you don't grow up with it. I watch Muhammad Ali on a Saturday afternoon. Fight. Jimmy Young. ABC Wild World of Sports. Howard Cosell. Saturday afternoon. They didn't say like, oh, no, every fight's got to be the Saturday night in Las Vegas at midnight to make. No. To sell the sport, to make fans of the sport. And I think if you keep doing this with college football, at some point, I know nobody believes it and, college football, whatever. Don't forget that the NBA was on tape delay at one point. I know nobody can believe that because I grew up and I watched it with a local sportscaster at 11 o'clock. At 11 o'clock news would say, hey, coming up next on Channel 2 here, the NBA Finals game number 3. And if you're going to watch it, turn down your sound outside the score so that you don't ruin the game. That was the game. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine that?
No.
You can't imagine that.
No.
But that's what happened.
And you know what I think is a big factor in this is gambling. I think gambling, parlays, all that good stuff is the new attention. Like, I don't need the rivalries. I don't even – because like I mentioned, with the transfer, I don't know all the quarterbacks. I don't even know the players anymore. I just know I'm keeping up on it via – the fantasies, via the gambling. And that's a huge thing, I think, now, just kind of the new way of watching, new entertainment, the new versus just the pageantry of it all and the rivalries. But to be honest, this is bigger than USC because USC, on the flip side of this, they're not the one that draws the needle per se. When you look at the top 25 games this season, USC is not in a single one of those. USC, being in LA, as we are, USC is very fickle, right? When USC is popping, you got Pete Carroll, you got all the things going on, they're huge. When they're not, they're not. So you had Caleb Williams, a Heisman Trophy winner and a Heisman Trophy nominee or, finalist or like consideration the next year. Nobody was really talking about USC. But it's bigger than them because to me it's other states, right? It's just the Alabamas of the world where you got the Auburn and Alabama. It's the Michigans, Ohio's, the Texas, states where those college football is huge. Here in LA, it's a little different. Like I said, if USC ain't great, no one necessarily cares. Dodgers are great. Lakers, what are they going to be? It becomes all the big conversations. So, but you're starting to lose all of this, man. And the last point, college football playoffs, that's where maybe rivalries will be. And so, like, you're going to get teams that weren't traditional rivals because they're going to be competing for titles more. So it might become Georgia, Ohio State become a rivalry because they're always in the college football playoffs. It might become Alabama, Clemson because they're always in the college, or Oregon, Michigan because they're always in the college football playoffs competing. You're going to start getting rivalries that weren't traditional rivalries because of college football playoffs and the expansion of it. That's what's going to become the new rivalry in college football. All right, Rob, so they're watching us right now, which means another thing they can do is what?
They can subscribe. All you got to do is hit that button, subscribe to The Odd Couple for some of the best sports talk content in the nation.
Facts, and while you're at it, they can like, they can comment, they can share. Do all that for us. We appreciate it. Just do all that right up in here.